Hello there, people of the internet. Mondo the Avaricious back here once again, and today I thought I'd bring you another action figure review. Yes, I know this is the second one in 2 days. Well, I've been, feeling a bit better lately, so I thought I'd upload a couple more videos. And I have a lot of figures to talk about. So, I thought we'd talk about this guy, which is one of my favorites of the 2018 season. This is the NECA Friday the 13th Part 2 Jason Voorhees. Let's get a closer look. So Mr. Voorhees here is a very nice figure. There was a couple people complaining about the fact that NECA reused a lot of parts on this guy from the original, which was in the Cult Classics line, the Cult Classics Hall of Fame line, and the 25th anniversary diorama set, which I would love to still get my hands on, that had the Pamela Voorhees figure. But I'm not really complaining, because I always thought it was an excellent bag sculpt they did. They really captured the shape of the bag right, with that kind of indent at the top, kind of pokes up a bit. I believe they also reused the chest piece, but they added some new articulation in there, and they reused the hands, if I'm correct, but that's really about it. That's why the hands aren't molded in skin tone plastic, like most Jasons are now. These ones are painted, so you might start getting that if you try to wedge like the pitchfork in his hand, like I do. You might start getting paint scrapes, but it's fine by me. A lot of great detail in this guy. Let's get a look at the eye first. His face. Get a really nice look at that eye. Very nice, wide open, kind of like how he was in the film. This is when Jason was portrayed by the actor Steve Dash. May he rest in peace. This has always been one of my favorite interpretations of Jason because it's actually like one of the more creepy, realistic ones. Got a lot of nice wrinkles. You got his blue checkered patterned shirt. His coveralls are unlike the original, are a separate piece, which is nice. So that also allows to hide some of the articulation and gives them for a bit more flexibility and a bit more realism. They're nice and dirty too. There's lots of browns, greens, some grays in there. Let's get into the boots, which appear to be accurate. Now let's go over his articulation. He has a ball-jointed head, ball-jointed shoulders, a swivel and a turn at the shoulder, turn at the elbow. Sorry about that. Ball-jointed hands. Some articulation in the mid-waist, but it kind of gets restricted because of the overalls, but that's fine. He's got ball-jointed legs, a twist and a bend at the knee, and a ball joint in the foot. So a very simple NECA articulation, but that works. Alright, now let's get on to accessories. So the first accessories we'll be talking about are his weapons. So first, we of course have the pickaxe from the very end of the film. This weapon's kind of become synonymous with this version of Jason. I don't know why. He only uses it for about, maybe 5 minutes at the end of the film. But still, it's a pretty cool weapon. It's nice and sharp. It's sturdy. It doesn't feel brittle or anything like that. You got a nice bit of blood at the end. It looks pretty good. Handle's just a basic brown, but that's fine. Yeah, pretty decent pickaxe. Next is the cow machete, as many people call it, which there's lots of jokes in the film that Jason's using the machete backwards, but actually this machete in real life, the bevel is on this side. As you can see, NECA was smart enough to include that in this figure. Also, this is one of the first NECA figures where they began using this kind of system for their blades, where they actually try to look like a real handle, where they kind of make a tang and then they put 2 pieces of plastic around it to actually mimic a handle. It's a bit thicker on this one than others, so it's kind of hard fitting some of these weapons in their hands. But I'm confident that they perfected it now. This is a nice looking butcher's knife. This is the one he uses to kill the girl upstairs when she discovers him in the bed. Just a basic butcher knife. I like that it's not the same as all the other, that NECA really doesn't reuse butcher knives. All their butcher knives are very different, which I like. So, yeah, that is pretty cool. Next is the weapon I find synonymous with Part 2 Jason, the hay fork. It's a nice hay fork. It's different from the one from the Part 3 because this one was actually a bit smaller. The what do you call these, treads were a bit different. And it actually had a handle. It looks pretty nice. It's basic. This is what I usually have him posed with, actually, is the hay fork. Looks pretty nice. Next we also have the legendary shish kebab spear. It's very basic. You want to be careful with it though. It does feel a little bit brittle if you were to put too much pressure on it. Especially at the tip. But it looks good for the most part. It's got a good length to it. See how long it is compared to him. They're about the same height, actually. I thought it would have been like the part 6 spear and it's like taller than him. But yeah. That's about it for weapons. Let's take a look at other accessories. We have the Warrington Gillette Jason head. The paint job, I don't know. I'm kind of iffy on it. It looks, the teeth don't look too good. They didn't really paint in those gums. It's the same head. I really wish they might have done something different. I mean, it's not a bad head sculpt. It looks like, I just wish they would have, you know, painted it better. It's really my only deal. I've never really imposed this head. It's not a bad head. It looks like the film. It's just, he looks a bit doofy, you know. He looks kind of derpy. Yeah, it's the same head as we got on the Cult Classics line and the Hall of Fame line and the box set. This head's gotten a lot of use, much like the other head. But still, pretty cool. Should I put that on now? Take this head, just kind of pop it off. You just have a simple peg. This one's a bit harder to get on. Give me a moment. There you go. I can't really get it on all the way because the peg on... Yeah. As you can see, it's kind of hard to get on because the hole in my head on my figure really isn't the biggest, so it really doesn't want to go on, but you get the idea. It goes on, looks normal. The only thing that they did not bring back on this figure on the paint job is the neck hair, because on the original figure, I believe the neck had neck hair. Alright, looks like one of the last accessories. Mother's head. This is the same Mother's head we've gotten with the Cult Classics line. The, focus. The NES Jason. That was, the only difference was that one was blue. This one is just flesh-colored still. It's that same kind of zombie color. The only thing they added, which I really wasn't too big a fan of, is these kind of tendrils in the neck. I wish they would have added a way for the Mother's head to stand up and it sit upright like the original did, but they added these neck tendrils, so you kind of have to manipulate it a bit in a certain way if you want it to like kind of like lean up against the fire pit or something like that, which I'll show you in a moment. It's a decent looking piece. I wish we would have gotten a new one because, I mean, this Mother's head sculpt is alright, but in the film it was a bit wider. This one looks very elongated, and that was always a problem with mine with this line, was the Mother's head. And also, hopefully, once, there we go, focused. Hopefully once all this lawsuit crap is over, we will get a Mrs. Voorhees figure, and not a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. We'll just get a regular Ultimate Mrs. Voorhees, I'm really hoping. Yeah, that is Mother's head. Last but not least is one of our first diorama pieces we've gotten with a figure. The fire pit. This is a really cool little piece. I always have this on the shelf with this guy and the other Jason figures, because it really does add to it. It's a pretty simple trick. It's just a fire, and you just have to kind of align it. With the holes, it may take you a couple tries, but once you get it, it looks great. Just kind of... Sorry, I'm trying to do this all from behind the camera. It's kind of difficult. Nope. There we go. I want this bottom one going down here and this one going across this log. Once you get it, it really looks nice. You have all the individual sticks and rocks and logs. The bottom is just flat. That's normal. And it's mixed for a nice piece with all the other figures. I was talking about with Mrs. Voorhees' head, the only way I can get it to display well is kind of, it looks like it's burning, but it's kind of like leaning in the fire pit, kind of like that. That's the only way I can really get it to stand upright when I have this guy on display with the rest of the figures. Yeah, that is pretty cool. That is Friday the 13th Part 2 Fire Pit. Alright, that has been a review on the NECA Friday the 13th Part 2 Jason Voorhees from 2018. I hope you all enjoyed this review. I'll be sure to bang more out. I hope you all enjoyed. See you later.